here. This is CNBC.com. Russia is considering selling its oil and gas for Bitcoin as sanctions intensify from the West. So that was a very interesting thing where I think one of the military guys from Russia basically said, like, hey, we'll use whatever to sell our stuff. You know, if it's Bitcoin, it's Bitcoin. So right. I think that was the translation, which again is very interesting because that fits a narrative that Elizabeth Warren is trying to push out there here in America. You know, it's only the criminals use Bitcoin, you know, but it works when it comes to the Russia sanctions.
The other side of that is that, Bitcoin could become the new sort of petrodollar or something.
Especially out, if China... I don't know about China, but, Russia can certainly do that. But I wanted to mention this as well because it's relevant. Bloomberg Green headline, Exxon weighs taking gas to Bitcoin pilot to 4 countries. So Exxon, yeah. The oil giant launched its Bakken crypto pilot in January 2021. Miners are pushing to use flared gas to power operations. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting, like why is ExxonMobil looking at energy or looking at Bitcoin, especially it's specifically Bitcoin mining. I think there's some kind
what they
want
to do is provide gas, energy. Gas, I'm assuming they mean LNG or something.
Yeah.
To power Bitcoin mining operations.
Something like that. Yeah, let me read this. The oil giant has an agreement with Crusoe Energy Systems, Inc. to take gas from an oil well pad in the Bakken Shale Basin to power mobile generators used to run Bitcoin mining servers on site, said the people who asked. Yeah,
I see that. They're talking about burn off from the process. You know, these oil refineries or these oil, I don't know what they call them, pumps or whatever. They just burn a lot of gas, there's just wasteful gas. Same thing with solar. If you got a powerful solar thing, you just end up shunting a bunch of energy into the ground because you can't store it. But part of the process with LNG and other gas is you just got to burn a bunch of it. So they want to send all this extra gas to go fire up some generators and mine some Bitcoin. Sounds like a party to me.
You know what I think is going to happen is, the whole ESG stakeholder capitalism thing. I think a lot of that, I think they're going to suddenly flip it onto Bitcoin and be like, if you're not helping mine Bitcoin, you're wasting, it's kind of like, because it's waste, right? It's
you mean
waste in terms of
right, yeah. It's going to be burned anyways. You might as well create some sort of value out of it.
Yeah. So it's green to do this. So
there's a fascinating connection there. I want to hear what you think, actually.
I think that, and especially because we've seen a lot of big time people start to move into Bitcoin a couple days ago. Who was the big one that announced? It wasn't JP Morgan. I forget who it was, but somebody big is coming in. So I think there's a chance that they're going to do something to peg some kind of world currency to Bitcoin or some part of the economy, economy to Bitcoin. And it's going to be energy based.
Well, here's what I think this connects to what you're saying. So as of, recently or the lifetime of Bitcoin, there is a connection. I'm not saying it's a 1-for-1 or that they're pegged or whatever, but there is a connection between the price of electricity and the value of Bitcoin, because a huge deciding factor of Bitcoin and its existence is the power that it takes to run the computers, to run the miners.
Right.
And so that's why it's really hard to be profitable in Bitcoin unless you have free power, whether that's hydropower or solar or
it forces
geothermal.
Everybody to go green especially when they're looking at the energy consumption, even though the energy consumption already is very low compared to other industries.
Sure, but that's where it was. It used to be the price of electricity has a really big impact on Bitcoin mining. But if you take the electricity as a utility out of the process,
then it's pure profit.
Switch it. You base it on gas.
Right.
Now you have Bitcoin that is sort of semi-pseudo tied to the price of natural gas and not electricity. So it's actually a total win for gas producers in a world that is otherwise trying to get rid of gas producers.
Right,
you know?
right.
In Europe, no new homes can be built with connections to gas pipelines. It's all electricity, it's all solar. So, the gas industry is feeling the burn, if you will, and, looking into the future and seeing there's powerful forces trying to make gas companies obsolete. But if gas companies can get their little fingers into the Bitcoin pie, I think that makes it even more of a connection between Bitcoin and its future as some sort of like energy currency,
energy asset, energy reserve asset. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and it's more than anything. It then philosophically, Bitcoin can be seen as a store of what would otherwise be wasted energy. We turned this wasted gas into value, which kind of does fit in with an ESG Great
100%.
Reset type of thing.
100%.
Okay, I get it. I like it.
I think some of the bad PR is to lower the prices these corporations can get in. Roll the boat back, get all the rich people in there.
Okay.
So there you go. That's some interesting angles to all of this, and especially with the Russian, one of the guys, I forget who he is, basically saying, "Hey, yeah, we'll accept Bitcoin for our oil exports and stuff." So,
it's important. It's absolutely essential to not focus completely on the military aspect of what's going on, and zoom out and watch the whole master plan, as it happens, because this is the real world shaping stuff. That we've had these politicians and world leaders talk about the new world order and how the world's never going to be the same after this. It's not just because there was a military offensive from Russia, but it's the response. And the response is using the crisis to completely shift the world order and the world economic setup. So, okay, sounds good. Love it, Gonz.